Welcome into DC on Screen, episode 241. I'm your host, David C. Robertson. This is my co-host, Jason Goss.
Hello.
And this episode, we are getting super spoilery on Gotham 307, Red Queen. To recap, following the dinner at Hatter's place, Lee and Valerie Vale are done with Jim. Hatter, not through with his reign of vengeance, liberates Alice's body from the GCPD mortuary, and with the intention of poisoning the city from within. Thinking ahead, Tetch sidelines Gordon with some super acid that sends James on a search for himself. Gordon's private Woodstock reminds him that his father's ring is the key to finding his true path, which is to protect people. Later, a man wearing the same ring tells the head of the Court of Owls that judgment is upon all of them. Hatter hijacks the city's most important dinner of the year, but is thwarted by a hulked-out Barnes and crew. Meanwhile, Penguin selfishly tries to derail the upspring love story of Ed and Isabella, but Isabella is apparently okay with Ed being a murdering ex-Arkhamite. Also, Bruce is annoyed that Selena is late to his hard-slave dinner, but they both admit that this whole new thing is weird, so it's kind of okay. Oh man, that was a tough one to get
Working
through.
the rust off here.
All right, so it was a fine episode. It was a little bit boring for me, though.
Yeah, just a little less eventful, I'll say, than what we've had in the previous episodes this season.
Mm-hmm. Unfortunately, the episode made me like Lee less with the with the whole. No, you better have said what you did to make sure that I lived.
Yeah.
Like
I kind of wish
the
you
other
would
one.
stick to her point. Like, well, you're into Falcone right now. Like, why do you really care what Jim thought? I mean, I know it's kind of cruel to be like, I'll take your death over this other person's, but you don't really care, do you?
Yeah. It was just that she was just like calling him immature and stuff. Like, you can't decide, you can't own up to your own feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, dude, come on. You have a fiance. You hooked up with the mob. Come on now.
You're doing fine.
Also, back a little bit to having a bad taste in my mouth with Hatter. He was just a little boring. The really fun part of this episode though was Penguin.
Oh yeah, him messing with Isabella.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that swan-like neck. Ed loves a neck.
Yeah. Yeah, that one got me. I kind of, it's something you see coming, but when he actually walked into the library, I was disappointed a little bit. Just, Oh, come on, Pingers, you dick. You know that's not going to work. Even if it works, it's going to backfire on you. Like, you're smarter than that.
Yeah. Of course, the look on his face when Ed tells him he thinks he's in love, just, oh man.
Nah, I crushed him.
Poor Pingers.
Poor little Pingers. I was excited though because I thought that with Penguin doing that, I thought Isabella was going to maybe get out of the picture really quickly. The whole would-be triangle would collapse on itself, and then we could maybe even figure out why Isabella was there pretty quickly. Like, whose center is, that face being that identical can't be a coincidence on the show. Mm-hmm. There's got to be a reason. And I just wanted to get out of the love triangle, but now with Isabella coming back and saying like, no, you know what, it's okay that you've murdered people. I'm just so taken. Mm-hmm. We're back there.
Yeah,
there's a lot of love triangles on this show right now. It's something I constantly complain about with Gotham though. Is it's supposed to be a show about budding superheroes and Western style machismo on Gotham City streets, and I get that sometimes, and then at other times I get like Vale coming in for a while to just give Gordon something to think about.
So at the end of this episode, we have Jim going, and that's when he has the conversation with Lee. Mm-hmm. He's going to see Vale, even though Vale's already said you love Lee, which means we're done. Right. So it looks like Vale is not out of the picture.
She really seems to, at this point, have the most sense in the show. Like, Tetch was right. You're nothing but trouble. Get out of here. She's got good points.
Well, Bullock has a good point. He's got some good sense.
Yeah, Bullock does normally have sense.
The whole, I don't know, get the hell out of here and let the people who want to wear the badge do our damn jobs.
Right. That was pretty great.
Yeah. So you think that they're going to really hit up Vale harder this time? Like, he's going to just jump all in?
Well, that's
become a cop again, start dating Vale again exclusively.
I think he'll go with. I mean, he went with the cop thing, which is great. I mean, we needed to get that whole private dick thing out of the way. I agree, but I don't know. I think he will end up with Vale. Like, for a little while, there'll be a what they want while she's healing. I feel like the show ultimately gets back to Lee somehow, and in doing so, it's going to piss off the Falcons and be a whole thing, because that just seems like too ripe a storyline for them to leave behind. But yeah, we're going to be dealing with that for most of the season.
Sure.
You know what was actually fun, though? Was Barbara as the bellhop.
Yeah, during the hallucination.
Yeah. I was surprised, but I really enjoyed that a lot more than I thought I would.
Yeah. What are you doing here? Hella fun, though.
Right. Last thing I want is your lips on mine. Clearly you do.
This is all in your head.
All literally in your head. I'm even wearing a sexy outfit.
That was fun.
Yeah.
But we get to meet Jim's dad for the first time. Right before they give us a shadowy lurky figure that hails from parts unknown, to quote a Norm Macdonald, and a very old Norm Macdonald
right.
bit, with the same ring. I don't see a way that this is not either Jim's dad or Carmine Falcone, and he doesn't sound like Carmine Falcone. So.
Yeah, the guy with the ring at the end you're talking about. He doesn't at all sound like anybody that we've met, and I couldn't tell if it sounded like Gordon's dad.
Yeah, I mean, I only just met the guy.
And even if it does sound like Gordon's dad, it should sound like an older version of Gordon's dad.
It's TV. That's not how TV works.
Time should have passed.
Yeah.
I mean, you're right. They may not do that. They may not bother, but I feel like time should have passed. You should move a few notches.
Sure.
Few notches down.
So yeah, I think it would make sense if it was his dad, which would be kind of cool. The code on the ring, "While we breathe, we shall defend," brings Gordon back to the GCPD in the episode, but at the same time, that would be the way. Like, let's say he finds out this dude is his dad, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, "Dad, how could you? I thought you died." Blah blah blah. And he's like, "While we breathe, we shall defend."
Yeah.
So
I had to disappear. I had a greater purpose. Blah blah blah.
Yeah, yeah. And even in that, like, going on to this shadowy, terrible existence, you're still defending the city, at least in his head. Right. So, moving on to that.
If they do that, it'll end up being Gordon's trying to stop him because he thinks it's the right thing. And don't forget the interlude where he tries to recruit Gordon, if it is his dad, because he'll want to prove that this is the right thing to do. And I think
that'll happen either way.
That might be, yeah. That might be fun, though. Gordon on the Court of Owls for a minute.
It might be. So what else we have this episode? Tetch spreading his dear dead sister's legacy, as he puts it, with Red Queen. I have to admit, there's something from Smallville that I thought of when I saw Red Queen, and I went, "Oh!" And then it didn't turn out. It was a drug, and I'm like, "Ow."
Yeah.
But you Smallville fans out there know what I'm talking about. Jason, no spoilers, buddy.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
I appreciate it. I'll get there, though, at some point, and you'll get a giddy phone call from me like, "Oh, man, that would have been great." But no, they didn't do it.
Yeah. Loving Bruce and Alfred in this episode. I love them every episode. Absolutely. I love Alfred as Bruce toils over the food. I'll give you all the privacy you need within earshot and with the lights on.
Right.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
And they have a cute date. I really liked the little back and forth about it being weird. Because Bruce he's a proper boy after all. I mean, you can't show up late to dates. That's not how things work. Mm-hmm. And he confronts her on it and tells her she's gonna have to be honest, completely honest with him if this is gonna work. And I liked the honesty of like, this is weird. Yeah, this is weird. We agreed that this is weird because that's what first dates are. Great. It's like a very candid. That's what's actually happening at a first date most of the time. Mm-hmm. And I did like Alfred leaving the room with Selena in the doorway, kind of to scoot by her, gives her a very genuine sounding, "Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me, miss." It occurred to me that as he asked politely to scoot by her, we're a long way from backhanding in the middle of the street with "You bloody treacle."
Yeah. And this is somewhat begrudging, though.
It didn't even sound all that begrudging. It just sounded like, "Excuse me, man."
Yeah, you got to look for it, though, with Alfred. It's there. All right, so we had Catherine at the Founders Dinner. For some reason, Penguin's just drunk as hell, telling her everything he did to Ed. So that's going to be fun. Mm-hmm. I did enjoy the tonight heads will roll. You were the heads of Gotham tonight, heads will roll line. I think the show's shaping up to be something interesting.
Yeah. Whatever Barnes is turning into,
cool
the
places.
Judgment is coming.
Oh my gosh. Like, what is that about?
I don't know.
Yeah, Scott at the Suicide Squad cast thinks he's going to be Solomon Grundy. I'm kind of hoping for Abner from Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, why not?
Just some, like, mentally broken dude who's running around with the Joker.
Right.
So I think that's all I've got, though, for this episode.
Yeah.
All right. So, guys, you can catch every episode at DCOnScreen.com. We are a proud member of the Giants Has Team Up Network, GiantsHasTeamUp.com. Go check us out on iTunes at DC On Screen, Stitcher, Google Play, same deal. Give us those 5-star written reviews to be entered into the contest and into the giveaway. Free trade paperback, Blu-ray, or DVD, valued at $15 or less. 1 in 10 will win. We got to get out of here. Until next time, guys, keep some DC on your screen.